Welcome to our live Q&A session. I'm Sarah Nolan, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. This is a Q&A session, and this is a space and a time where you can ask me or your spiritual guides anything. You can ask about your Miracle 90 process or your recharge process. You can ask some practical questions like that, or you can ask some more spiritual, energetic questions having to do with what's coming up for you, explaining something. Or Dana had a really good question. Let me just pull it up about her personal development process. So Dana's question was a question about her mother and our ancestral lines repeating themselves, resulting in illness. Is there anything more I can be doing for my mother? And Dana, I had asked for a little bit more detail on that. If you're watching this live, let me know and give me a little more detail. Like, are you looking to clear the ancestral lines? What are you looking to achieve by helping your mom more? And if you're watching live and you're not Dana, then feel free to type a question in the comments. So Dana, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a message for you from your guides about clearing the ancestral lines, and specifically, to do with your mother. And these messages are really for everybody here. I'm specifically, focusing on one person. I'm focusing on Dana right now. But these relate to everybody. There's, timing is perfect, and there's a reason that you're tuning in right now. So this is perfect. So just see how this message relates to you with what's going on in your life, and especially with ancestral lines. And if you haven't gotten to that part of the training yet, what she's referring to is these generational patterns that get passed down from generation to generation. We tend to repeat the lives of our parents. And so this is something that we have the opportunity to clear, and this is something that I'm teaching in Miracle 90 and especially Recharge. So Dana says, yes, I'd love to clear them. I'm aware of them, but I feel like she's getting it, and it's okay and to be expected. Oh, not getting it. Okay. All right. So I always focus on starting with ourselves. We always focus on starting with ourselves because everything that we experience is a reflection of what's inside. So by you making that shift within yourself, it's going to actually change your experience. It's going to either change your perception of the ancestral lines, or it's going to clear them altogether. And by your parents witnessing your healing or your process with this, they're going to have some kind of a change as well, because they're going to start seeing a different reflection when they look at you. Does that make sense? Awesome. Yes. And just so you know, I have a special rate for if any of you want to do an alignment session. I actually have a complimentary alignment session that I offer to the Inner Circle members. If you would like to do a complimentary alignment session, then just let me know. And that's going to be a private session where we talk together one-on-one. And I do offer a special rate if you want to take that further. So, all right, we're going to see what this message is for Dana, for how she can shift herself to help with this ancestral healing, specifically having to do with her mom. And also it's going to help your girls as well. Any ancestral healing that we do for ourselves is going to help our children and future generations down the road. Okay, so you got a double message. Both are fire messages. In the fire, I love that in relation to what you asked, Dana, because fire is really about It's creating and destroying at the same time. And it's like burning the what's not serving to fertilize and create a space for growth. And so the first message says abundance. Things are looking very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. Making long-term plans is really pronounced within this message for you, Dana. I don't know what the specific deal was with you and your mom and that specific pattern, but really being grounded and trusting the process so that you're not switching paths all the time. You're staying on the same path and you really commit to that one path, and you know that there are going to be a lot of surprises on that one path, and you can take your approach to the path. Like when we're walking on a path, we can walk in different styles. We can take different modes of I wanted to say communication. For some reason, communication is coming out here. Transportation. That's so funny. So there's something that wants to come out that has to do with communication. But yes, there are different modes of transportation that we can take on the path, but really committing to that path and allowing yourself to be flexible while you're on it. And communicating your long-term plans to other people. Really letting your parents know, really letting your spouse, your children know about what you're committed to, and really holding those boundaries. And all of that is leading to the abundance, and knowing that that path that you're on, that's what it's leading to. And really all paths will lead to abundance. That's the really cool thing about this. It's just the more you switch paths, the longer it takes to actually get, further on any of the paths. And then your next message, and again, this is, I'm reading this for Dana, and this is for everybody else who's listening as well in some way. So the next one says, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. Now, isn't that interesting that the first message was about stay on the path, trust the path. And the second message was about changing your life and career advancement in an exciting new adventure, exciting new opportunity. It's so funny. It's like these words are just coming through that aren't even that aren't even on the cards. And so this is a time, it's like you're at a crossroads, and this is a time to get really intentional. Is the exciting opportunity, like what I'm doing right now, is this that exciting opportunity? Or is the exciting opportunity on this path right over here, and this is the path that I'm going to commit to and make this long-term plan? So that's something to reflect on. And whatever decision that you make right now about your path, that is the decision that's going to break that pattern. And your commitment is breaking that ancestral pattern. And it's a bigger picture. Like what I'm sharing with you right now, Dana, this is just what's coming up in this moment. There's a bigger picture there. So that's something that you can take a deeper look at. We could always work together privately on that if you wanted to, or, you can just dive in deeper. So you can go and use EERT to see what needs to be cleared there. See, do you have any resistance to the commitment? Do you have any resistance to a path that is specifically leading you to the life that you want? What I'm seeing is there's the clear path, and there's the like scary wooded path. And there's this myth that says, if you take the scary wooded path, you're going to have so much more fun, and it's going to be so much more fulfilling. But that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of drama along the way with that scary wooded path. And when we're addicted to drama, then of course we're going to choose as much complication as possible. But if we just want to get to where the path leads, and look, if you have a clear path, you're going to have beautiful views along the way. That's one reason that I moved to Colorado, or in why we've stayed here. We've chosen to stay in Colorado versus New Hampshire. Is New Hampshire, it's all trees and you don't ever really get a view. And in Colorado, it's totally clear and you have views everywhere. And so, that's something to think about with this myth. And maybe that's where this ancestral pattern is, has to do with, is that myth that it's got to be hard and it's got to be complicated if it's worth doing. So hopefully that helps you and everybody else who's watching. Let's see. Dana says, my mom is addicted to drama and I'm healing that piece of myself also. Awesome. Yeah, so that's really what you want to consider right now as you're looking at different decisions you're making, is what's going to be the more complicated one and what's going to be the most simple and most direct. And that's also, I can see where that communication piece was coming in as well, is there's the complicated communication and there's the simple and direct communication. And so that's really what the energy of this is all about, is simplicity versus complication in how it affects all parts of our lives. Okay. So Pooja, hi Pooja, so good to see you here today. Pooja says, I'm celebrating being off for the entire week for the first time in 3 years while still getting a paycheck because I finally have a full-time job. Awesome. That's not a contract. Congratulations. And my question is, and I love hearing that, Pooja, because I remember when we were talking a few months ago, like all of this was coming up. It's like, it's all going to be okay. You're going to have lots of abundance that is in your life. And here it is now. I love seeing that unfolding. So Pooja says, my question is there anything I should do in order to cultivate a harmonious romantic relationship with my boyfriend and I in the new year? This has been on my mind lately, especially since moving, and I just want to know if I'm on the right path or not. Okay. Awesome, Dana. All right. So we're going to see what Pooja's message is about harmonious relationships with her boyfriend. And is this, so we're tuning in with your romantic guide right now, and I can feel her. I could feel like my whole head getting tingly, and she's got a very strong message for you, Pooja. Okay, hold on. Okay. So I love it. So the last two for Dana were fire, and the two for you, Pooja, is earth. And it's also about abundance. And in this case, abundance, it's not just money, right? But abundance is your wealth of love and your own open heart, your own abundant heart. And this is an interesting picture. As you all know, sometimes I pay attention to the pictures. Like sometimes the pictures really speak the message and sometimes not so much. But this time, take a look at, let's see if that will focus in. Take a look at that picture. And it's this fairy that's like choosing two different piles. And she's really looking at her options. And she's saying, I'm going to leave that there. And now I'm going to read the message. So it says gifts of time, money, and effort. So this is like real generosity, and it's generosity of yourself and receiving generously as well. New career opportunities, receiving a loan, and paying off debt. So it's really like settling down, getting grounded. I know that you just moved and you've just, gotten a new job. It's like a um, really stable, abundant job, and settling down. And so that's the path that you're on right now. It's kind of like the last, what we were talking about before with long-term plans. Like, this is your time to make long-term plans in your relationships. And I think that last message for Dana, that was also for you in relation to this as well. Your next message says inflow of abundance. So you're just getting started, Pooja. Like, with your job, you can be looking at, what is my long-term plan here? How am I looking to advance here? And how can I really live in my genius at this job, and really look ahead to different promotions that you can get and things like that. And it says a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. So it's really interesting that this has to do a lot. The message has to do a lot with money, and it's really about heart opening. Like, as you trust in the universe and you trust in this abundance, that this is for you and that you do deserve this and you are worthy of this, your relationships and your love is going to follow suit. So the more you settle in and ground yourself in the abundance and in that stability, the more you're going to ground yourself and settle into the love in your life. Now, I know that's not, specific to your boyfriend and your current path, but the way that this applies to that is you can look at your relationship with him and say, is he looking for stability in a long-term plan? Is he looking for, these things that I'm cultivating in my life? And hold on a second, I'm just getting something else. It's like you're both I'm just feeling something. Just hold on a moment. I want to be careful when answering questions like this about relationships, because there's no one right answer. And so this is just kind of what's coming through, is whatever you had with him, and I could really feel your romantic relationship guide coming through. Whatever you had with him when you were in California, that situation is over. Now, I'm not saying that situation, that he's over. I'm just saying that situation is over. And you have really leveled up in your life and personally, in your personal world. And so is he, well, the first question is, do you want him to follow you? And if you want him to follow you, that's the most important thing. If you want him to follow you, is he willing to also level up? Or would he rather bring you back down to, where he is currently? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, I was shown a clear and easy path to Florida, but came up back for option number 2 that starts with drama due to roommate. Okay. So, these questions, like, should I, it's important to be careful with those kinds of questions, because what does should I mean? This is something to keep in mind whenever you're doing your own readings and whenever you're working with your pendulum is instead of saying, should I, ask a question like, you know, having to do with the positive outcome, or, you know, just getting more clarity around the situation. Because, you know, should I do this or should I do that? That it can lead you down a deceptive path. All right. So I apologize. So Unity Love, for some reason, Crystal, that's your name, right? It's been so long. I'm like, it's Crystal, Christy. I think it's Crystal, right? So I'm gonna get your message for about your ex. So I'm not gonna ask, should you give up on your ex? I'm just gonna see what is your message about your relationship with your ex. And it says skilled work is rewarded, learning all that there is to know about a topic, going back to school. So this is like getting more information and letting go of any assumptions that you might have, in getting like objective information, letting go of assumptions, letting go of emotion, and getting the facts. So I'm not sure exactly what that means for you and that relationship, but it's really it's super simple, and I think you're going to make your decision from that information, getting out of the emotion and getting into the facts. All right, I hope that's helpful for you there. So like I said, let me know if any of you want to take any of this further, want to do any of it privately, then let me know. I have a couple of openings for complimentary alignment sessions where we work on getting into alignment with your whole life. Like if your life feels overly stressed or out of balance, or you feel like you don't have enough time, that's a really good time to get into these alignment sessions. And we can also start the new year off with some private sessions as well. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I can share with you how to get started. And have a wonderful rest of your week. I haven't yet decided how often I'm going to be doing these Q&A sessions. If you all feel like this is really valuable and you want to, keep showing up for them, then I would be happy to keep doing them. So let me know in the comments, would you like to keep doing these Q&A sessions? Is this helpful for you? And if if enough people say yes, then we will keep doing them. So I can't wait to hear from you and hear how this was for you. What is your biggest takeaway? That's another thing I would love to hear, is what is your biggest takeaway from our session today, whether I shared a message with you directly or you were just listening in and receiving messages from others that also applied to you. Let me know, what is your biggest takeaway? So have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Awesome, Pooja. Wonderful. Pooja says, yes, I love this. All right. Awesome.